Okay, so this is a quick screen recording of how to convert Excel files into SPSS files, specifically .sav, but really anything that SPSS can output to, any sort of formats that are available. So I think we have a file here, METS raw data 0701, which Saksham emailed me earlier today. So this is the one that we want to convert, and actually there are multiple tabs in this file, but we'll address that later. So the first thing you want to do is, this is the screen that actually opens up when you launch SPSS. So just choose new data set to begin with. Okay. Once the new data set, blank data set, has opened up, if you choose File, Open, Data, and navigate to the folder where the Excel file is that you want to work with. So you can see we can only see a certain type of file right now, which are the SPSS.SAV files. But if you actually choose a different file type and choose Excel, then the files we're interested in working with should become visible. And this is our file right here, METS raw data 0701. Again, that's the one that Saksham emailed me earlier today. So if we choose Open, you're going to be prompted with a dialog box next. So it looks something like this. You always want to have this box checked. It's read variable names from the first row of data. If you don't have that checked, the headers or the variable names that you have loaded into Excel in Excel will be called row 1, will actually be entered into row 1 here in SPSS, which will cause each of these variables to be categorized as string variables, even if the remaining data in the columns is actually numerical data. So you want to be really careful and make sure that this box is checked. This will cause the header names in row 1 of Excel to actually be inserted into the variable names up here in row, I suppose we could call this row 0 in SPSS. So just make sure you do have this box checked there. The other option is worksheet. So SPSS has gone into the Excel file and determined that there are actually 5 tabs within that file, and you need to choose the individual tab that you want to work with. So we can start by working with the METS file, the SPSS.MET file, which is the latest and cleanest version of the intracranial METS data that we're working with from NSQIP. So if you want to click on that last tab, that's the tab that we're interested in working with. Range, this is to specify if you only want to import a certain number of columns. I usually don't mess with this. I'm not exactly sure how to format the input here to select a certain number of columns. I'm sure you can play around with that, but my advice would be to import everything and then subsequently delete what you don't need, or to make a temporary middle Excel file that has only the data that you need in it. The maximum width for string columns is something that's dictated by the version of SPSS that you're running. So lower level versions have a smaller width available, and I believe the higher, more premium versions actually allow you for larger widths of the string variables. But to be honest with you, you know, at 32,767 characters, that's massive, and I really don't think you'll ever need anything larger than that. So once you've selected read variable names from the first row of data and the sheet from the Excel file that you're interested in working with, just click OK. You'll see at the bottom of the SPSS window, it will actually say running get data down here. So just allow that to pull the data out of the Excel file into a new SPSS file, and it does that fairly quickly. You can actually then save this file as any sort of SPSS output that you're interested in. So you can choose, I think we're calling this file METS raw data 0701. So I am just going to copy that file name here, save it as a .sav file. And that's it. So if you click save, this should output the file. And I believe it saves relatively quickly. You might not even catch the status bar light up. But if we go back into the folder that we were working with, you'll now see that there's a newly generated METS raw data 0701.sav